Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Imagine walking away from millions of dollars,
Yeah, just leaving it on the table.
right, leaving the most prestigious stages in Europe, all just to play for a team that isn't even in top-flight international competition.
It's wild to even think about.
It really is. That is the exact reality we are unpacking today. But before we get into the actual mechanics of this unbelievable transfer, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession.
Absolutely.
It is the absolute best way to make sure you never miss out when we break down, the biggest shifts in the sport. So our mission today is to unpack the intensely personal and professional trade-offs behind a massive shock in the market. Double Rugby World Cup winning Springboks scrum half Faf de Klerk is officially leaving Japan to return home to South Africa.
And honestly, it is a phenomenal case study in, well, what happens when an athlete completely redefines their own finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about a 34-year-old veteran with 60 test caps. This is a player who has already climbed the absolute highest mountains in his profession, fundamentally altering his trajectory.
Put yourself in these shoes for a second. Imagine you have to choose between a highly lucrative, incredibly prestigious international career path.
Right, the kind where they throw money at you.
Exactly. Where top organizations are basically throwing blank checks at you, and then taking a massive pay cut just to be closer to your family.
It's a huge pivot.
It is. It's essentially like a top-tier executive at the absolute peak of their industry, running a thriving, wealthy international conglomerate in Tokyo or Paris, suddenly announcing they're leaving all that money and prestige on the table.
Just to join a small local startup back in their hometown.
Exactly, just to be near home.
That framing gets right to the heart of it, I think. This isn't just a story about rugby contracts or league standings. It is a profound look at values and priorities. And to understand the gravity of the choice, we really have to look at the financial and geographical realities that were actually on the table.
Right. Let's look at the numbers.
So he's leaving the Yokohama Cannon Eagles at the end of the Japan Rugby League 1 season. He's been there since 2022, right after his stint with the Sail Sharks.
Yeah.
And now he is returning to South Africa on a 2-year deal with the Cheetahs.
And the Cheetahs deal is where the financial disparity becomes glaring. I mean, he attracted serious interest from his old club, the Sail Sharks, and from top French clubs, specifically Perpignan.
Huge money in those markets.
Huge. But he actively turned down the European market. He is taking a massive pay cut to join the Free State team. And he cited his and his wife's family as simply the primary reason.
Choosing the Cheetahs over Perpignan or Sail is, it's a night and day financial decision. The European clubs operate with massive budgets and global broadcasting revenues. The Cheetahs, while, they're a very proud and historic union, they simply do not have that kind of financial firepower.
Right. And I hear the romantic family-first narrative. And on a human level, it is a great story. But let's look at the physical reality here.
Okay.
He's 34 years old. His last 2 seasons in Japan were pretty heavily interrupted.
They were, yeah.
So is this family-first framing just a convenient, positive PR spin? For a player whose body might just be telling him it's time to step away from the grueling, week-in, week-out physical punishment of top-tier club rugby.
That's a fair question.
Especially since French clubs like Perpignan might just be trying to buy his brand name to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Rather than, expecting him to put in 80-minute shifts every weekend.
Well, that is a highly practical way to look at it, sure. But the mechanics of those European leagues actually tell a different story.
How so?
The French Top 14 and the English Premiership, they do not pay premium salaries for mascots.
Good point.
They just don't. Those are punishing, deeply physical, high-attrition leagues. If a club like Perpignan or Sail is putting a massive offer on the table, their medical and performance staff have run the numbers.
Right, they've done their homework.
Exactly. They expect a significant on-field return on investment. The fact that those offers were genuine and sitting on his table proves this wasn't, a lack of options or a body completely giving up.
Wow. Yeah.
He had the opportunity to chase the European Euros, and he deliberately chose geographic proximity over financial maximization. It is a remarkably grounded life choice.
The financial hit is one thing, but the on-pitch reality presents an entirely different gamble.
Oh, absolutely.
And before we get into the tactical risk of stepping down in competition, do us a favor and hit subscribe to Rugby Obsession and jump into the comments. We genuinely want to know, would you ever take a massive pay cut in your own career just to be closer to your family?
It's a tough call.
It really is. Let us know where you draw the line between professional gain and personal life.
Because the professional risk here is immense, particularly regarding his status with the national team.
Right.
Joining the Cheetahs means stepping out of elite week-to-week international club competitions. They don't have those massive URC or Champions Cup fixtures.
Playing in the top 14 or the Champions Cup is like driving on the Autobahn.
Great analogy.
Your reaction times naturally adjust to the blistering speed, the massive collisions, and just the sheer pace of the game around you.
Yeah, you have to adapt or you get run over.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Dropping down to domestic competition with the Cheetahs feels like, well, exiting onto a suburban street. How do you step back into the test arena against the All Blacks or Ireland when you've been driving 30 miles an hour all season?
That physical drop-off is definitely the crux of the gamble. And it is amplified by the fact that he already fell down the Springboks pecking order last year.
Right, he only made 2 appearances, and both of those were from the bench.
Exactly. However, this highlights a really fascinating evolution in how modern international teams operate, specifically under Springboks head coach Rassie Erasmus.
Oh, Rassie is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Always. Erasmus actively keeps de Klerk in the loop. He has him attend team meetings virtually, even when he isn't officially part of the squad.
But how does that actually translate to value, though? I mean, a scrum half's entire job relies on split-second physical synergy with the forward pack.
True?
You can't practice clearing the ball from the base of a ruck over a Zoom call.
No, you can't practice the physical clearance, no. But the scrum half is the metronome. He's the tactical brain of the operation.
Right, the decision maker.
Exactly. By keeping him in those virtual meetings, Erasmus is utilizing de Klerk's ability to dissect game tape, recognize defensive shapes, and really mentor the younger players coming up.
Ah, I see.
Elite coaches value mental sharpness, cultural continuity, and locker room leadership just as much as physical reps. Erasmus is preserving the intellectual property Faf brings to the Springboks system. His brain remains an elite asset, even if his club schedule is lightening up.
So the Cheetahs are banking on that exact same intellectual property.
100%.
They aren't just acquiring a player. They are injecting a world-class tactical brain into their environment.
And they know it.
Yeah, they noted how absolutely thrilled they are. They highlighted his incredible energy, his experience, and his leadership. They view him as a player who could just shift the momentum of a match and completely elevate the standard of the players around him. Supporters cannot wait to see him in orange.
Because they are bringing in a guy who knows what a winning culture looks like at the highest possible level. That locker room influence Erasmus is trying to preserve is exactly what Faf just finished building over in Yokohama.
And his departure from Japan is a perfect illustration of that. Faf issued this heartfelt farewell statement to the Yokohama Cannon Eagles fans, explicitly calling the club, quote, "more than just a team, it's a family."
Which is high praise.
It is. He praised their culture, their professionalism, and the pride everyone takes in representing the jersey, noting that Japan has become a place very close to his heart. And it feels remarkably genuine compared to the boilerplate, PR-approved statements we usually see. What does it say about the global nature of modern rugby that a South African legend leaves a piece of his heart in Japan?
It says a lot. It reveals a high degree of emotional intelligence, for one.
Yeah.
And it completely shatters the old, kind of cynical narrative about the Japanese leagues.
Right. The retirement home narrative.
Exactly. Historically, when a massive international star went to play in Japan, it was viewed as a retirement tour, a purely mercenary move to play half speed and cash a massive check.
The league has fundamentally evolved from that stereotype, hasn't it?
It really has. And the corporate ownership structure of Japan Rugby League One is a major reason why.
How so?
Well, teams like the Cannon Eagles are deeply tied to their parent company. Players are often integrated into the corporate culture, working alongside regular employees, which builds a vastly different bond than a standard franchise model in the West.
Oh, wow. So there's actual community buy-in.
Yes. When Faf talks about the club being a family and praises the professionalism, he is validating an environment that demands respect. He immersed himself in that culture rather than treating it as a lucrative layover.
It is a brilliant win-win when you look at it. He gave them his tactical expertise and fully embraced their culture, and in return, they provided a highly professional environment that clearly left a lasting personal impact on him.
Absolutely.
Let's synthesize all of this. What we are looking at is a 34-year-old legendary player making choices entirely on his own terms.
Dictating his own future.
Right. He is willingly prioritizing his family over international prestige, he's accepting a massive pay cut, and turning his back on European wealth. And he's taking on a brand new cultural leadership role with the Cheetahs in South Africa, all while leaving a deeply respected legacy in Japan.
It is a beautifully complete narrative of modern athletic maturity. And, as we look at the broader implications, it leaves us with a highly provocative question to consider.
Let's hear it.
If one of the most recognizable faces in global rugby is willing to walk away from European mega contracts for family and domestic loyalty, could we see a shift where more aging superstars choose emotional fulfillment over pure economics, totally disrupting the current club rugby market?
A total disruption of the market based purely on emotional fulfillment over economics. That is a brilliant thought to leave on.
It's definitely something to watch.
And to you listening, we want to hear your take on that. Please subscribe to Rugby Obsession and drop your thoughts and opinions in the comments on that final provocative question. Are we going to see a wave of superstars choosing family over the biggest paycheck?
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.